My granddad left, a lot of great things behind, but the foundation is really for us the most impactful thing that we can try to grow and carry on. Our three pillars are health and wellness, character development, and nature preservation. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. It's trying to raise money and help others, because we've been fortunate enough to have a platform here like this, and hopefully everyone can get out there and help make a difference.
Go into Ultimate Golf and you're going to see some boss battles where you're going to get the chance to go to battle against the king himself, Arnold Palmer. Hello everybody, I'm Duff and welcome to another very special VIP tournament here on Ultimate Golf. Now these VIP tournaments are a chance for you guys to compete against our featured guests and win some pretty incredible prizes along the way. We've had some pretty good guests over the years. We've had pro athletes, we've had celebrities, we've had some of your fellow community members, and even a PGA Tour pro or two, and that's exactly who we have with us today. We are joined by PGA Tour retiree, can I get away with saying that? Sam Saunders. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing great, Joey. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So, Sam, we're going to get right to it here. We're going to get chatting in a second, but let's go ahead and tee off so we can start this little golf journey. Sam is going to be playing a very special course down in Orlando way called Bay Hill. You ever heard of it, Sam?
Yeah, I've been around here a few times, so let's see if I can get started. I like my start here. Number one is always I take my 4 and get out of there typically.
Oh, really?
It's a hard hole. One's a tough starting hole. I mean, that would be a 10 out of 10 drive in real world golf for sure.
291 down the pipe. So Sam Saunders, PGA Tour professional. He's been through a few of the tours. Grew up not too far here from Bay Hill. He's probably played. How many times do you think you played Bay Hill, Sam?
I get asked that question a lot, and I have no clue how to answer it. It's in the thousands. Oh God, I yanked that. There's 3 9-hole courses at Bay Hill, and the Charger 9, as a kid, was where I played most of my golf until you got old enough and good enough, and then then I was allowed to play. We just called it the big course when I was growing up there. So, but yeah, played Bay Hill more times than I could count for sure.
So Sam already off to a fantastic start. He's got a little birdie putt here on one. So much for taking your 4 and run. You talk about playing Bay Hill as a kid. Kind of a cool story, and others have verified this too, that you probably could have walked around like you owned the place, but you never did in that entire time. It was always you were hanging out with the greens guys and doing all that. And I think I even read you didn't even go in the clubhouse in the men's locker room until you were actually of age and 18.
That is correct. The rules did not bend for me at all. My granddad would be mad at me, even though this is an awesome vintage Palmer hat. He'd say, "Why are you wearing your hat in the house?" I mean, I did this for us today for sure. But it was. You had to be 18 years old to go in the locker room. You had to, I didn't drive a golf cart till I had a driver's license there at Bay Hill. So I'm really glad that I wasn't, treated any differently there and had to follow the rules like everyone else. I ended up being friends with so many of the employees there, whether it was outside staff guys, guys in the shop, maintenance crew. I worked on the maintenance crew for a couple summers there. Gosh, that was 20 plus years ago now. And so many of the folks that were on the maintenance crew then are still there and still friends with them today. Wow. So it's amazing, yeah.
So we were going to see how long it took to bring this up. I was going to try and delay it as long as I could, but it came up naturally, so let's just get it out of the way. If you didn't know, Sam Saunders, he said grandpa. That grandpa's not just the dude. That is the king, the king of golf, really, Arnold Palmer.
Growing up there, having my granddad be who he is, I got to give my parents a lot of kudos. Though I was almost, ignorance is bliss. I wasn't aware that I was anyone different or that he was anyone different. It was just he was a really famous, good golfer, and I was a regular guy, and we just grew up there. But fortunate enough to be able to play the vast majority of my golf there.
Yeah, that's incredible. And to kind of skip ahead, you talk about that growing up 15 minutes away from Bay Hill, on a cul-de-sac riding bikes with kids and whatnot. And I know you've got a couple kids of your own now, and you probably could have had the opportunity to live in that big house off 18, but you don't. You took the family, and I think you live on your own street now where kids are riding bikes and you're picking your kids up from school, and you're giving them kind of that opportunity to grow up as kids.
We live out here. I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. We spend a lot of time outside. My kids they go to the public schools here. We're part of a community and just try to live a cool, normal life. And we've definitely fallen in love with the outdoors. We're pretty big into skiing, do a lot of mountain biking and hiking and just all the camping, cool things there are to do out here in Colorado.
I'm very impressed with how you're doing that. So good on you as a fan of the outdoors and a father. We'll get back to Colorado in a minute. Look at him go here. Talk about some course management by a PGA player. Now, the ride for you to get into the PGA wasn't exactly an easy one, and I think it proves like nothing was handed to you. You might have had a couple sponsors, exemptions here and there along the way, but you earned everything your whole way up. Talk about being a 13, 14-year-old on that varsity team with the big boys that are 17, 18. Were you out driving them then?
I remember being 14, so I was in 7th grade, and there were a couple guys that played on the varsity golf team. I think they were juniors or maybe even seniors. Yeah, they were juniors. And they asked me to start playing with them at Bay Hill. And I was playing probably the yellow tees at the time. And I went to play with them and they said, hey, you're playing back here with us. So at 14 years old, I just I had to learn how to play a big, long golf course. And I had to learn how to hit the ball far. And yeah, they took $5 from me every single day, it seemed like, and then eventually I just, I'd get them one time and then another time and then another time, and it really forced me to get better and just learn how to play against guys that were bigger than me and could hit the ball further at a really young age. And it was a cool experience. And yeah, I got to play high school golf in 7th and 8th grade all the way through, obviously, and managed to eke out a state championship in 2004, which was pretty cool. I was proud of that one.
Hang on a second, you're gonna get humble. Do you remember how many strokes you won that by?
I do. That was a 5-stroke win. It was cool because Buddy Alexander, the Florida golf coach, was there watching me for all 36 holes, and I got an offer to play at Florida, and I obviously ended up going to Clemson. But it was a neat experience, and my dad was there watching me, and it was definitely one of the highlights of early in my career.
Speaking of your dad, he played a big part in your golf journey growing up, and that all those road trips and driving you all across, I imagine, the state and the country playing junior golf. And was he caddying for you at the time? Did he kind of act as a coach, or was he your dad?
He was my dad first and foremost, always. We had, oh boy, I got to aim here. Holy moly, this one's getting me.
All right.
I'm focused.
Let's get this for Eagle.
Cool. Let me get this shot here. Hold on a minute. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get in my head. You're trying to distract me on one of the tougher shots I've had yet. Oh, I worked it out. Spin. Ooh, look at that.
Get the hole. Oh.
Honestly, some of my most fond memories are just driving around the state of Florida, playing junior golf tournaments, going up to Gainesville, staying at my grandparents' house. So my dad's parents lived in Gainesville, and we just played so many golf tournaments all over the state of Florida. It was so much different back then, junior golf, than it is now, even though I was a highly ranked player and all that. I think I went to like North Carolina a couple times, and I remember going to Texas one time, but very rarely in my junior golf career was I flying anywhere. It was a lot simpler, less travel type stuff back then.
And Sam is being modest because he said I was fairly highly ranked. I'm pretty sure you were the number 1 ranked junior golfer at one point, by the way. But I appreciate your modesty. My
last junior tournament I ever played, was down at PGA West. I was able to win the FCWT National Championship, moved to number 1 in the junior rankings for about a week and a half, and then off to college. So
you get to Clemson. Was there much of a transition, like moving away from home, playing golf on a college team?
Yeah, there was definitely a big transition. You know, I think it's not that I was overly cocky or anything. I was used to winning a lot of golf tournaments. I was used to just everything. Not that it came easily, but I was used to beating guys. And I got to Clemson, and you know, obviously the level of competition goes up. I missed my first qualifier. I remember that one, and it really stung because I was playing a course I was unfamiliar with. All these guys played there all the time, and I missed qualifying for the first college tournament. I just remember how much that hurt, not getting to travel with the team in the first event. But I made up for it and had my first college event. I think I finished 5th in. You know, had an okay freshman year, but in general, compared to my junior career, I had a very average to poor college career. But I had a great experience. I made good friends on the team and learned a lot just about myself and hard work and all the things that, you know, kind of go along with just growing up.
Before you take this tee shot, swipe that target over to the left a bit. Go back into aim mode.
Okay.
I just want to have a look here. And of course, number 6 here at Bay Hill, if you put it into YouTube, we're going to see a certain Bryson that took that line over the water. When you're playing with the boys, like, have you had a tailwind? Have you given this a go? Like, is this something that everyone tries?
Yeah, actually, there was a point in time when I was 17 and 18 years old. I was so unaware of distance. That was just not a big thing at that point. I knew I was long, but I was literally like, I was that guy. I was the longest hitter there was. And in the junior golf and even like the amateur golf stuff, really up until about my freshman year of college. Then I lost a bunch of weight, got in shape, and I lost all my distance. And
you lost 50 pounds between your freshman sophomore year, didn't you?
I did. I was playing a college golf tournament, and I remember, you know, carrying the bag for 36 holes, and I just could barely make it. And I knew I needed to get in shape, and I'm glad I did it. But yeah, I think I lost quite a bit of good bit of strength. But I flew one, if you can see the rocks right here by the green. I was 18 years old. I had a pretty solid tailwind just playing with some buddies, and I flew one into the rocks. And I remember we didn't see a splash, and we all went nuts. And we went up to the green and found the ball in the rocks, and it had the most enormous gash on it.
Oh, really? You've
ever seen, just because the velocity that it hit the rocks with. So, yeah, I didn't drive the green, but I came pretty close.
That I've not personally ever seen this hole live. I would definitely, if I'm going to go down and watch an API, I'm probably going to be sitting on 6, I think, to start.
6 is one of the coolest holes in all of golf because it's just, there was a lake there, and obviously Bay Hill is an original Dick Wilson design. My granddad did a lot of the redesigns, and it still has the original integrity of it. But the 6th hole was just like, you got this awesome lake here and this beautiful piece of land, and the hole just fit so naturally. I took a little extra time on this eagle putt I had here because I really needed to see that one go.
Eagle on 6. Have you eagled 6 very often?
A handful of times,
yeah. He's a PGA pro, guys. Of course he does. What am I thinking asking these questions? So you finish at Clemson, go down and hang out with some Aussies for a little while.
That's right.
How was that Australian experience? We've got a ton of people in Ultimate Golf, including some of the best players in the game, are from Australia.
Okay.
And we've got a pretty good following there. So I'm interested to hear what your thoughts were of Australia.
It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. I went down there for a month, basically, with a buddy of mine. He caddied for me and provided some company. I started in Melbourne, and I played the Aussie Masters. Melbourne, I should say.
Attaboy.
Played the Aussie Masters, which was the one that Tiger won, which was just really cool to be in that tournament, playing at Kingston Heath, which is one of the greatest golf courses I've ever seen in my life. Turf conditions on this whole sand belt in Melbourne. Now, I'm I'm an agronomy junkie now, and I love golf course design and architecture. And I mean, the Sand Belt in Melbourne is literally like the mecca of golf course agronomy. And then we were in the Hunter Valley for a week. I met this guy named Richard Mercer, who is a longtime big name teacher in Australia, Dickie Mercer. And I'm sure a lot of the Australian followers will know Dickie Mercer. But he actually married a gal that went to Clemson. So we were, in the middle of nowhere in Australia, didn't know anybody, and ended up having Thanksgiving dinner with them. They treated us like family and kept in touch for so many years, and really met a lot of cool people there. The last week I was in Sydney and played the Australian Open at New South Wales Golf Club, and that was one of the craziest tournaments I've ever played in, right on the coast. We had a 5-hour wind delay. The first round, I shot like 3 over 74 or something the first round, and in my wave of the afternoon that had to play in the wind, I think only 3 guys beat me and I shot 3 over. It was so hard. The wind was blowing 50 miles an hour. And Stuart Appleby to this day still played those first 2 rounds. He shot 12 under in my wave. And I don't think anybody was in within 15 shots of him from our wave. He didn't. Adam Scott ended up winning the tournament, but those were the 2 greatest rounds of golf I've ever seen based on the conditions that I was playing in.
Because golf isn't always just 0 wind, beautiful sunny day, like morning, afternoon tee times, moisture content. I think I've seen Phil go on and on and on about that, about the temperature and the dew point.
Yeah.
Have you kind of got into the science of golf?
I try to make golf a little bit more of a feel game, a little bit less of a science. I don't claim to be that smart, so I try to just keep it simple. Well, I got a funny Phil story on that, though. I was playing with him in LA at what's now the Genesis at Riviera, and I was obviously pretty excited to be playing with him. It was on a Sunday. We were both probably in about 10th place, so somewhat in contention. But on the first hole, I'm nervous, and I'm playing with Phil Mickelson. He's a legend, and I hit my second shot right at the pin, and it's par 5, and I thought it was good, but I couldn't see where it was. And I'm asking my caddy as I'm walking. I said, where is it? Where is the ball? And Phil just kind of appears over my left shoulder, and he says, Sam, your ball is 21 feet 6 inches directly behind the hole in the fringe. No. And I was like, okay, there's Phil Mickelson. I mean, all he had to do was look at the pin sheet and know that my ball was on the back fringe by about half a foot. So never had anybody else be that specific with me, but it was a cool experience. And at the end of the day, he was a great guy. So it just seems perfectly on brand for Phil. Now, you were talking about more of a feel guy. I know in your garage you like to tinker with your clubs, just like your granddad like to do. Even to the point where, forget the proper usage of stuff, you got a little lighter fluid to get that glue on and off and everything. Yeah, I can't get behind the mineral spirits. I like lighter fluid. I like making it a dangerous situation when I can.
Have you always just tinkered? Like, are you tinker a few times a year, maybe just like from year to year, or are you like, my wedge isn't doing it on Thursday, I'm gonna mess with it Friday?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, growing up, I tinkered a lot more. The technology, it's crazy how much it changed. Drivers stopped being glued in, everything was adjustable. You really, unless you had an incredibly advanced setup, it was hard to tinker with clubs as much. One of the coolest things I ever did, though, with the tinkering side is Dow Finsterwald is one of the greatest players that most people don't know about. Dow was one of the best putters there ever was, and my granddad confirmed that. He said he was incredible, best putter he'd ever seen. And Dow would actually build his own putter grips. He would take everything off, so it was just the shaft, and then he would put a hacksaw blade, like a little hacksaw blade on the front for your flat front, tape it all up,
really?
Leather wrap, because he wanted to feel the head as much as possible. So
yeah.
Total opposite of today's day and age of having all of these, giant grips and everything. He wanted the smallest pencil thin grip he could get. And, oh God, I yanked it. So he would build his own grips, and he taught me how to do it. And I actually built one of my own putters like this. It was beautiful. Like I did a nice job because he taught me how to do it the right way.
Cool.
And I was always really into how the head looked, and I wanted it to be pretty muted in color. So I painted the head all black, and I had a can of Rust-Oleum matte black spray paint in my golf bag. And I was playing in a Pro-Am, and I'm playing with the president of Rust-Oleum. And I didn't really realize this until we're walking down the first fairway. And I said, "Oh, you're not going to believe this." And I pulled out a can of Rust-Oleum matte black spray paint in my bag and showed him my putter. And I said, "Hey, I did this myself." And ended up being about a 5-6 year sponsorship and some great friends in the company. And it was the most authentic player endorsement deal I feel like you could ever get, because I had the can right there, and it was not a setup.
There's nothing better than there's nothing worse than someone trying to hawk a product that you know they've never used in their life.
Exactly.
We've got Sam through the front 9. I think he was 10 under through 9. You ever beat that in the real course, Sam?
No. I tell you what though, and this checks out on the Charger 9 at Bay Hill, which admittedly is an easier 9 holes than either the front or the back, the Charger or the Challenger and the Champion at Bay Hill. But I did shoot 10 under on the Charger 9 at Bay Hill one time.
You're a shirt animal.
That's my career. I mean, I blacked out, and that I'd like to think that one will never be beaten. But no, not even close. I think maybe I shot 29 on the front at Bay Hill this 9 holes one time maybe.
Is that better than the 59 you shot in the Corn Ferry?
No, the 59 is the best, because you got to put all 18 holes together, and that was probably, I could say that was my best round of my career, and really special too, because my wife and my older son were there to watch me do it.
And I think you were in a pairing with Weedy there too, weren't you?
Yeah, Steve Wheatcroft, one of my best buddies. I lived maybe half a mile from Atlantic Beach Country Club, which is obviously my home course, and so all the members were there, tons of friends, and to be able to be playing with one of my regular guys and good friends in the first round, have everyone there, and make that putt on the last hole, I'll remember that for the rest of my life for sure.
That was a significant putt too. It's not like you had a 2-footer.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this story is, so you go out there, you put a 59 in the book. Weedy shoots a 62, and I think you owed him money, didn't you?
Oh God, why'd you have to bring that up?
Yes.
So annoying about it.
He emailed me and paid me to say this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we had a regular game, Weedy and I did, and every time we'd play, which was a lot, we'd play $50 no bogey, $50 65 or better at Atlantic Beach. And that was just kind of our standard bet amongst whatever we would do with whoever else we were playing. That day, he shot 62, and his was bogey free. And my 59 was with a bogey. So technically, yes, I did. I paid him $50.
I love it. It's such a good
But
story.
I have the course record signed by him and me, obviously, in the clubhouse there that'll be there for eternity. So
yeah, you don't mind giving up the $50 at that point. I think we need to talk a little bit about one of the reasons why you're playing this wonderful game today. Is we want to raise a few bucks for your grandfather's charity, of course, the Arnold and Winnie Palmer Foundation. What a fantastic cause. I learned something new preparing for this. Is I didn't realize they had 2 hospitals in Orlando. They've got the Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children and the Winnie Palmer Hospital for Women and Babies. I just assumed it was a foundation, being the Canadian boy that I am, and I was blown away by that. What if, Sam, if you could talk a little bit about the foundation and your involvement with it over the years?
Yeah, so, I've really gotten involved recently since August, since I've kind of taken a step back and watching the game from the sidelines for now. And the foundation is obviously, for my family, I'd say it's the most near and dear thing to our hearts. My granddad left, a lot of great things behind, but the foundation is really for us the most impactful thing that we can try to grow and carry on and make a difference in others' lives. And the Arnold Winnie Palmer Foundation, we support the Arnold Winnie Palmer hospitals locally in Orlando, obviously, but the foundation has more of a global reach as well. And there are 3 pillars for the foundation. I think it's good. I want the world and people to know what the foundation does. I think a lot of people kind of wonder about that, and we love supporting the Arnold Winnie Palmer hospitals in Orlando. They're incredible. My grandfather was so proud to have his name on those. But, the foundation, our three pillars are health and wellness. Obviously, the hospitals make a lot of sense there. Character development and nature preservation. So we also have the Arnold Winnie Palmer Nature Preserve up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which my grandmother Winnie was so integral in saving that land and really providing an educational place for young kids to go have camps and learn about nature and have some character development programs. It's really special and important. So the foundation's great, and the tournament, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, is obviously a great opportunity for us to spread that awareness and help raise significant charitable dollars and make a difference out there. That's, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. It's trying to raise money and help others, because we've been fortunate enough to have a platform here like this, and hopefully everyone can get out there and help make a difference.
So guys, if you're watching this video now, in the first few days when it first dropped, go into Ultimate Golf and you're going to see some boss battles where you're going to get the chance to go to battle against the king himself, Arnold Palmer. Latrobe, very, very special course to the Palmer family. Going right back, I think your great-grandfather actually was one of the first ones there, and he was the groundskeeper and then a head pro. Latrobe, an hour outside of Pennsylvania, and featured in Ultimate Golf as well. What a cool course. I love it. I'm a woods guy. I'm an outdoors, I like the Florida stuff, but I love Latrobe. Do you get a chance to get up there and play it very often? And just tell me about that office. Give me like 2 lines on that office. It is.
The office is, if you're into sports memorabilia in general, it's one of the coolest. Everything between the Hickok belt, the Eisenhower trophy, he's got just unbelievable sports memorabilia, letters from multiple presidents in there, and not to mention probably about maybe 5,000 golf clubs. Most of them are putters. He's got the original workbench that's just covered in glue and lighter fluid, and it's a disorganized mess, but it's beautiful. It's a piece of art. This workbench that he would sit there and grind on clubs, and then his office itself is just so many cool pictures. And that office, actually, we have started an initiative. We're raising some capital to do some amazing things up at Latrobe and make it just an incredible experience. And really what we would like to look at is more of like a golf pilgrimage. It's not necessarily a golf destination, because Latrobe is very unique. It's a small town. It's like going back in time, and it's such a beautiful place, like a beautiful part of nature. And the golf course is just stood the test of time, though. And the office and workshop, though, we are going to kind of relocate and rebuild the entire office and workshop right up onto the property, right near the clubhouse at Latrobe. So, Latrobe's probably only 6,600 yards from the tips, but when the greens are rolling a 13 like they do, it's tight off the tee. It's an incredibly challenging test, and I love getting up there. It's a special place for me.
It is fun. It plays very, very well in Ultimate Golf. It, like you said, it's a little bit on the shorter side, which helps when you're playing in Ultimate Golf, because we've got all these overpowered clubs, as you see. Sam bombing these 300 plus off the tee. It's definitely on my bucket list. I'm about 4 hours away from there. Maybe this summer I'll go down there and pay my homage to the Palmer family.
You let me know. You got an open invite. You have to do a little site visit, right? If you're going to be doing this and hosting tournaments at Latrobe, you got to do a site visit, and I could show you around. I'll be there most of June.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm definitely going to take you up on this.
All right.
So we've got Sam, Saunders. Oh, get up there, Sam. Oh, we're going to see a short game.
I tried to get a little topspin on that, and it did not work out, obviously.
Oh, we'll get you figured out here. He's playing so well. Watching these PGA guys play this game, you wouldn't think it would translate over into a mobile golf game. They're just better at this. So one of the things we pride ourselves in is our course creation. How has it stood up? Have you recognized some moments? Does this remind you at all of what it's like being out there walking those hallowed grounds of Bay Hill for real?
It's incredibly accurate. That's the house over there, the hedge of bushes to the right. Everything is identical to what the golf course really looks like in real life. It's spot on, really cool.
You were talking about your love of grass, and you've kind of gotten into that a little bit. I've seen some pictures on your Instagram of how good that yard looks. Definitely you're the guy where the other guys go out maybe in the afternoon, have a beer on their front porch, and they go, "Sam, stop it, you're making me look bad." I also know that you like to do some home projects around. I've seen you allude to a potential kegerator setup.
Oh yeah,
and I haven't seen it, but I need to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Fort Collins. This is the Napa Valley of beer country, so it's actually pretty funny. I broke my left leg skiing, and I was a little bored because I was kind of cooped up in the house, so I started taking on some projects. I have a kind of a cool bar in the basement, and I have a simulator down there, so I'm in Colorado. I got to play golf still in the winter, so I needed to up my bar game. And my wife and I went and we bought all these cool old wood planks and did some neat walls and stuff. But I had to get the countertop right, so I did kind of like a butcher block countertop that I bought from Lowe's. Meanwhile, I'm doing all this with my leg in a brace that I really am probably not supposed to be doing much on. But I don't listen to direction particularly well.
And actually, it's a funny story because your leg was in a brace, but I imagine your hand was probably also bandaged at the same time, was it not?
Yeah, well, I had wrist surgery and leg surgery at the same time because I broke my leg the day before my wrist surgery.
Yep.
I got the 2-for-1 special up at the Stedman Clinic in Vail. That was great. I actually remember my granddad always had Rolling Rock on draft in the basement at his house in Latrobe, and that was really my inspiration to wanting my own beer on draft in my house. So I put the butcher block counters in, I put the kegerator fridge underneath, and then I got to work. Instead of having a standard tap handle, I sawed off an old persimmon head and switched that on so that the pull handle is an actual persimmon head driver, and then I sliced some Titleist golf balls in half and kind of covered the hole that I had cut. It's a beautifully imperfect, I guess you'd say. So, but it pours well and it drinks great.
So you're talking about Grandpa and his drinking and his Rolling Rock. As a 44-year-old man and father of 3, whenever I go somewhere and you're getting a fountain drink and you have multiple options, if there is iced tea and there's lemonade, yes, there's a 100% chance I'm mixing them. And in my head, I'm going, Arnold Palmer alert. When that movie came out, did the boys ride you, or was that like, this is cool? Who wants an Arnie Palmy?
Oh, wait.
From the other guys.
Oh, yes, I have. My kid loves that movie, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I thought you were talking about the commercial. The Sports Center commercial is everyone's favorite. They talk to me about where my granddad goes and he pours, and then you got Stuart Scott and Scott Van Pelt, and they're, oh, did you see that? That's everyone's favorite. So it's funny, my son is 16 and he doesn't talk about it, he doesn't tell his friends, but inevitably friends find out and they all love him for the drink. That they love. Oh, I love your granddad's drink. I love your granddad's drink. He was a golfer? Yeah, I don't even know that he played golf.
I think your wife. I don't think she found out you were a Palmer until you guys have been dating for a while, and through the miracle of Google, right?
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, she just somehow I duped her into liking me a little bit, and we were dating for a while, and I think she just assumed I was unemployed, which I pretty much was. I said I'm a professional golfer, but I had no status anywhere. So she's like, this guy, I don't know about him. And then eventually, like a couple months after we were dating, she Googled and found that out. And it really didn't matter to her that much. It was she didn't grow up in the golfing world, but she got to know my granddad a little bit before while he was still around, and special thing. Both my kids got to meet. And even though my younger son Ace was oh my gosh,
oh no!
I didn't mean to react before, but
that was fine.
Excited about that.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, even my younger son Ace got to meet my granddad and got some great pictures of him sitting on his lap as a little baby there. So been incredibly blessed to have a great family.
Ultimate Golf, we are so big on community, and this line gets said all the time, how you come for the game, but you stay for the people. And I know some of my best friends I've met through Ultimate Golf. I know you've got your good buddy there, Eric Cole, that you've known, I think, for a long time, going back to high school. Congrats to him, by the way, 2022-23 Arnold Palmer Award, Rookie of the Year. What is the golf community like? Like, what is it? What's the PJ like versus the Corn Ferry versus the college? Is there much difference? Are you guys hanging out? Are you chatting? Is there a group chat going?
I mean, that's a good question. I loved it, to be totally honest. I loved playing the Corn Ferry Tour because my favorite events were always the international events on the Corn Ferry Tour, because everybody's traveling down there together. You're staying in the same hotels, whether you're in Panama, Colombia, Chile. Those events were just my favorite because you went out to dinner with guys, you hung out, you rode on the buses together. It wasn't glamorous, but I made more good friends throughout the years playing in those tournaments than you do when you go to LA and everybody's staying in their own hotels. I didn't have bad blood with one single guy out there. I mean, if I did, I don't know about it, so I'll just keep it that way. So many great friends and relationships throughout the years, both from just players and people associated with the game of golf.
That is so cool. And you talk about staying in hotels when you're out on the road and doing that. I don't believe you stayed in a single hotel in your last couple of years. You had that hashtag van life going around. How cool is that? I saw the pictures. I'm like, dude, this looks amazing.
Yeah, I kind of got a lot of heat from my wife because all of her friends were like, is your husband leaving you or something? Because why is he just taking a van and going out on the road for the whole year? It was awesome. I just kind of, I've been doing it for 15 years, and I'm going to go ahead and finish that one off right there. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's incredible, but I was tired of flights, rental cars, and hotels. That was what was sucking the life out of me. So I got the van, and it was an incredible experience. You just meet so many people. You get to cook your own food. I mean, I slept in the woods. I slept in golf course parking lots. Cool. It was great, and it's funny because every guy out there on the Corn Ferry Tour, both players and caddies, were like, why doesn't everybody do this? And I said, I don't know. So if I ever make a run at it again, I can promise you it's going to be via the van life.
So there we have it. Sam Saunders shoots a -19 at Bay Hill. What a wonderful chat. So on behalf of myself and everyone, thank you so much. Everybody, go out, play one of these boss battle tournaments, take on the king himself, get yourself some sweet prizes, throw some bucks towards the Arnold and Winnie Foundation. Sam, well, the floor is yours. Anything you want before we say goodbye here?
No, I really appreciate the time today. Super fun, love the game, and genuinely appreciate the support. So I'm going to give you a good old Arnold Palmer thumbs up on my way out, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much.
That hat is awesome, by the way. All right, he's Sam, I'm Duff. So if we can help out the foundation, we've also got this very round right here is going to be available to play on Ultimate Golf as a VIP challenge. Just go into that tournament section over at the top, hit those challenges, and you're going to see it right there on the top where you can take on Sam mano a mano and earn some great prizes along the way.